The UK braces for the upcoming Labour budgets next month, and ahead of it, Jeremy Clarkson has unleashed a blistering rant on both Rachel Reeves and Keir Starmer. In today's video, as always, we will take a look at what he has said, whilst also going over all of the latest news from up and down the country. But first, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and join our fast-growing community. Jeremy Clarkson has taken aim at Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer and Chancellor Rachel Reeves as the UK braces for Labour's budget next month. Clarkson is no stranger to publicly criticising Labour ever since Starmer emerged victorious at this year's election, and in recent weeks, the former Top Gear star and many others have been vocal in their opposition to more tax measures coming from Reeves's desk. Labour has already faced criticism over the slashing of the winter fuel payment by restricting it to pensioners on pension credit, leaving several of the elderly hundreds of pounds worse off. Then there's Reeves's potential tax raid on pensions, which has also prompted savers everywhere to flock to the banks to withdraw their money. Add to the mix the freebies scandal, which Clarkson has already dismantled, and the fact the UK has even been warned it could face a repeat of the mayhem from Liz Truss's mini-budget, and it's no wonder Labour's critics have been vocal in their dismay. And the problems only mounted for the government at Labour's party conference, following hiccups and moments of confusion during some of its most prominent members' speeches. Starmer was caught on camera pleading with Hamas to release sausages instead of hostages, and Reeves could only smile and look on when protesters interrupted her address. Referring to the mishaps in his latest Times column, Clarkson first took aim at Starmer as he ridiculed the sausages blunder that has hit headlines across the globe. The problem Starmer had, of course, is that he was using a teleprompter. It almost certainly said hostages, but when you are using autocue, you're not really concentrating on what you're saying, Clarkson began. Unable to resist the chance to mock the freebies saga, Clarkson mused, "So you're standing there, in a suit you don't own, using spectacles that aren't yours to read a screen. But what you're thinking about is how much you'd like a hot dog. That's what Starmer was doing, and who can blame him? I imagine it's what most vegetarians think about most of the time." Clarkson then continued to delve into why autocues and similar technology was never used when filming BBC's Top Gear of Amazon Prime Video's The Grand Tour, insisting he always worked best when rehearsing his lines and rolling with the punches when on screen. Why should it be different for politicians? He pondered, before turning his attention to Reeves. If you're the Chancellor of the Exchequer, you must know what's wrong with the economy and how you're going to fix it. It's your job. So why did Rachel Reeves need a prompter at the conference in Liverpool last week? I'll tell you why. Because she's been told to smile a lot, and you can't concentrate on that and changes to capital gains tax at the same time. It's one or the other, so we ended up with someone doing talking noises while grinning so hard her mouth looked like a 1950s Corvette radiator grill. In the end, the Clarkson's Farm star summarised, "It's got to stop. Know what you want to say and then say it. I don't care if you're frowning, sitting down, perched on a bar stool, or if you're wearing pyjamas and a dressing gown. Speak from the heart. Use your words, and we will be able to tell, because audiences just can, whether you mean them or not." Clarkson's latest attack on Starmer and the government comes just weeks after he fumed over what century the PM lived in after he implemented a new ban to everyday life. Voters in Austria handed a first-ever general election victory to the hard-right Freedom Party, FPO, preliminary results showed. Both the FPO and the runner-up, the ruling Conservative Austrian People's Party, OVP, ran on pledges to tighten asylum laws and crack down on illegal immigration. The FPO finished around 2.5 percentage points, ahead of Chancellor Karl Nehammer's Conservative OVP, to capture some 29% of the vote, its best result ever. However, FPO party leader Herbert Kickl remains controversial and roundly disliked by the other party leaders, who immediately united in rejecting the notion of forming a coalition with him. If the FPO cannot persuade another party to ally with Kickl, it could end their hopes of forming a government and open the door to a coalition of more moderate parties. The party, whose first leader was a former Nazi lawmaker, has sought to distance itself from its past and in 2019 helped pass a law allowing foreign descendants of Austrian victims of National Socialism to acquire Austrian citizenship. Kickl said he wants migrants who have entered Austria illegally to be removed, and very strict criteria enforced on legal immigration. This includes no asylum applications on the grounds that any asylum seeker who comes to Austria has crossed a safe country, with pushbacks used at the border. The party also rejects the European Union's Pact on Migration and Asylum, which aims to secure the bloc's borders and divide up migrants among members in order to pressure the EU to toughen up its borders. Kickl opposes aid to Ukraine and wants sanctions against Russia withdrawn, arguing they hurt Austria more than Moscow. Supporters say the FPO's Austria First policies will curb illegal immigration and lift the economy. Critics worry it could herald a more authoritarian state. Political science professor at the Carinthia University of Applied Sciences, Catherine Steiner-Hemmerle, said if Kickl did manage to become chancellor, Austria's role in the European Union would be significantly different, adding, "Has often said that Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban is a role model for him, and he will stand by him." The FPO has combined its tough talk on immigration with criticism of Islam. The issue took center stage last month when police arrested a teenager with North Macedonian roots on suspicion of masterminding a failed Islamic State-inspired attack on a Taylor Swift concert in Vienna. Running on the campaign slogan, Fortress Austria, the FPO promoted remigration and preventing asylum from becoming a pathway to eventual Austrian citizenship. The party also said it would make thorough checks on the citizenship of naturalized Austrians. The policy has unsettled some who feel the party, which dropped some of its more polarizing slogans in the campaign, is demonizing foreigners. The FPO has denied this, saying asylum seekers are a drain on state resources and draws attention to crimes some of them commit. Hedi, a social worker and Austrian citizen who arrived as a refugee from Afghanistan, said, "The FPO routinely talk about refugees and asylum seekers as rapists and thieves and drug dealers. Something very similar happened to the Jews in Vienna before the Second World War," he said, adding that the FPO, which wants to ban political Islam, would embolden xenophobes. In a TV debate earlier this year, Kickl called Adolf Hitler the biggest mass murderer in human history, as he roundly denounced the Nazi dictator's legacy. Head of the Austrian Association of Jewish Students, Alon Ishai, said he saw some parallels between the targeting of Jews in the early Nazi era and attitudes to Muslims now, saying, "There are rhetorical similarities when you talk about deportation, when you talk about taking people's citizenship away." FPO backer Mehmet Ozay disagreed, saying that Muslims were free to do as they liked in Austria. He said, "If there were daily attacks by FPO voters, I would understand the fear that things would get even more extreme if Kickl came to power. But that's not how it is. It's just fear stirred up by the other parties." What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you've not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you. Take care. Goodbye.